Let's start. When we start understanding about JavaScript, I got some feedback from your end, some sound feedback getting from you. And
Do you hear any voice?
yes, actually, I listen my own sound from your end.
Um, I
And
don't know how to. Yeah, what should I do? Do you have any?
hello, hello, hello. No, it
Yes,
is good. It's good. Now it's
it's
good.
good. No. Okay.
Okay. So, uh, when we start learning about JavaScript, so this is the very easiest documentation. You can learn so many things from here. Okay, it is main important when you start learning about JavaScript. Okay, and did you check out anything from here before?
Yeah. Something I'll use the W3 school. That's a very good one. It has different things.
Hmm.
Node.js, I don't know. Yeah, different things.
Okay, basically, when we start learning, so this is the very easiest documentation for the beginners. Okay, as well as if you are have expertise in knowledge, so then you can also follow this tutorials. But as a expert, you need to be more understanding. Then you can follow another area. But when we start as a JavaScript developer, so what is JavaScript? And did you know what is JavaScript?
JavaScript is a language for front end and back end.
Actually, here I have some history about JavaScript because JavaScript is a programming language, but it is only used for front-end development. It is not for use back-end development because this JavaScript has some history. Can I discuss about that?
Yeah.
Okay. So thing is, actually, this JavaScript programming language are released 1996. Okay, 1996 is a in JavaScript are released, and that time this JavaScript language not that name as JavaScript. That time this particular programming language name was ECMAScript, ECMA ECMAScript. Okay, so ECMAScript actually developed by uh, some organizations who are actually develop their browser to sell as a product, sell as a software premium product. But that time Microsoft are released their own browser, Microsoft Edge, with visual basic or visual script. So that time actually that particular premium product are gone down, and after then and they are actually some case file in American court, and after that that case are dismissed, and Microsoft gives some penalties for uses their concept. But after that when their concepts are flop, they are actually completely changed their ideology of their programming language, and that ideology is when they are developing any of technologies for front end, so they are actually doing some standardizations of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So HTML is the structure of the UI. So if we are seeing some any UI, so that time we are using the HTML, and when we are doing some styling, so that time we are using CSS. And after that, if we want something interactions between some UI with users, so that time we can use JavaScript. So this is the JavaScript, and JavaScript have so much potential things where we can explore. But problem is uh, when 2000 W3C is another organization. W3C is a organization where uh, standard the web technologies. Okay, they are actually called World Wide Web Consortium. They are standardized the whole things, and after this thing, they are actually released so many version. Actually, they are wanted to publicly uh, publicly open this programming language. So after this, after 2000, when it is released, this organization are actually open. After then, they are actually decide all the source code, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, all the source code can be visible in every browser. And when it is showing every browser, so that time it gives some security challenges for server side. So for that particular reason, JS have so much potentiality to make a backend development thing, but that time it's are obsoleted to develop the backend thing. Okay, and from that time they are mostly focused on the front end development. And when it is released in 2000, so that time JavaScript have so many versatile things, because every browsers have their own standardizations for their browser. Like if you are working with Microsoft Edge, sorry, not that time Microsoft Edge are there, that time Microsoft Internet Explorer, and that Internet Explorer supports some syntaxes like MS. And if you are working with Orkut, or Orkut, or uh, what is the browser, Mozilla is another browser. So Mozilla also have some extension Moj. So every kind of browser have their own extensions to use to visualize their uh, styling. So for that was the very tough problem, where if we want to create or making some application and for browser, so that time we get some so much issues to browser supports, for the browser supports. So that browser supports are resolving by jQuery. Okay, so jQuery are released 2003, and after 2003 jQuery when released, this jQuery are solved our main browser dependency problem are solved by the jQuery. And as well as so many things like animations, slide animation, so many things are actually resolved by jQuery. As you when you work as a website designer, so most of the time you can be use so many jQuery plugins as per front end development, or front end slide animation, or any type of animation type of things if you want. So that time you can use jQuery library. Okay, jQuery library and jQuery plugins also. So this is the actually main problem solver for the front end. But after that, JavaScript, how they recognized as JavaScript, because in 1996 our ECMAScript are released, and same year also released Java programming language also. Okay, so Java programming language gets so much popularities from the beginning for their name. And as well as after sometimes so many developers wanted to learn Java technologies, but when they wanted to start the Java technologies, but their ECMAScript language also be similar thing, but there have so much differentiation Java and JavaScript. Java mostly working for the backend development, means if you are working with C++, so you can be use Java programming language for the backend development, because C++ have so much problems as per programmatic point of view. So for that problems are solved when that problems are solved in Java programming language. and when it solve the programming in the Java programming language, and after that it gets so much popularities in programming fields. These popularities, when they are seen, they also change their own brand name as JavaScript. Okay, so this is the differentiation, because Java and JavaScript both are not same thing. Java actually working for the backend side, and JavaScript mostly working with the front end side. But for the naming confusions, so many pupils are start learning JavaScript, because JavaScript, if you start your coding through JavaScript, so you need only a browser. Okay, but if you want to start coding with Java, so that time you need to be install Java compiler as per your system requirement also needs. And when you writing anything code, so before run that code, you need to be compiled that first, and then you can be run your code in the final part. But in other hand, when you are start with or write your any code in JavaScript, so that time you just write the code, and you can see that code in the browser automatically, if you have a browser, because this is called just in time compiler. Okay, JIT, just in time compiler. Okay, so
Okay.
did you know what is compiler? Do you know?
Compiler. Um,
Do you know
no,
compiler?
I think no.
Uh, do you know runtime environment? What is runtime environment?
Not the environment. I think that's the one when you do the console of the when you see it on the browser the console.
Actually, when we start any programming, so first something we need to be know, like uh, every programs run on some systems. Okay, some computerized system, like where you have processor, RAM, and as well as memory also. Okay, so these three things are required to performing any codes. Okay, so this is are required basically, because every codes run on processor, RAM, and hard disk. Okay, these three things are required for any uh, programming point of view. But thing is, every program should run in a OS. Okay, basically, if you are working with Java programming language or any other programming language, so you should require a operating system also, right?
Right.
So operating system is basically a platform where we can perform our codes for the system, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we have three operating system for the desktop. Like we have a Linux operating system for open source software. Also, we have Microsoft for uh, uh, most of the users. And if you are as a professional developer or professional person, so then you can be use uh, Mac operating system. So this is the three operating systems are available in the market as per your requirement. Okay, so most of the times when we are start working, so first time when we want to start the working, so first time we need to be understand about the JDK and SDK and runtime environment. This uh, two things, runtime environment, these two things are mostly required to understand. What is the SDK? Can you know?
No, I don't know.
SDK means software development kit.
Yeah.
Okay, SDK means software development kit, and runtime environment is a environment where our codes are running. Okay, so
Okay.
Software development kit is a library. Okay, this is a library where we have uh, pre-written some codes already there, and that code when are compiled, after that code are running into the environment, runtime environment. Okay, these two things are actually required, and both of the things called as a compiler.
Both of them are compiler. Okay.
Okay, both are things when are in a same system, that's called a compiler. Okay,
Hmm.
you could understand
Okay.
what is the compiler.
Yeah. Yeah. Now I understand. SDK software development kit plus runtime environment will be compiler.
Runtime environment is a compiler. Software development kit and runtime environment equal compiler. And when you have compiler, so what kind of compiler we have currently? We have if we have working with the PHP programming language, so that time we need PHP compiler. If we need to work with Java development, Java software development, that time we need to Java compiler or Java software for the Java development. If you are working with Python development, so that time you need Python compiler. Okay, and if you want to work with JavaScript development, so that time you need JavaScript compiler. But what is the JavaScript compiler? Can you say me?
Yeah. So JavaScript compiler is SDK plus runtime environment.
Okay, but what is that?
I don't know.
Okay, actually, let's see. If we are working with the JavaScript compiler, okay, so we need JavaScript compiler to write our code. Okay, JavaScript compiler we required. Okay, so if we required JavaScript compiler, so how can get that compiler? JavaScript compiler means where we are run our codes, that's called JavaScript compiler, right?
Yes.
As per previous methodology, because
Yes.
they are should have development kit, that means they have some syntaxes are there already, and that syntax also be run on that particular platform, right?
Yes. Right.
That's called compiler. So JavaScript compiler basically is a browser. Every browser is a JavaScript compiler, right? Right?
Right.
How?
Yeah.
Let's see. If we are start anything to see in JavaScript code, so that time we need to be set up a HTML page for the browser exposing, because every HTML page should render in every browser. Okay, and when we want to perform our JavaScript code into the browser, so that time we need to be embed JavaScript syntax with the HTML file. Okay, and after this we can see our JavaScript code into the browser through the HTML page. Okay,
Okay.
so what we can write here: document dot write ln whatever uh, hello JavaScript. Okay, this is the basic output, and when we are seeing it in the output, so
On the browser.
we need to be open it in a browser. Okay, so we need to see output, so we run it in the browser, right?
Yes. It's in the browser now.
Hmm?
Yeah.
Okay, so how can we see after writing this code? Just I open it, right click here into the workspace, and after that we can see the open with live server. Maybe you cannot see this particular options in your base code, maybe you cannot see. If you want to see these particular options in your system, so you must have uh, one extensions from the extension sections, and you need to be installed the extensions called live server. Live server. This live server are required to install for your uh, VS Code. Okay,
Hmm.
it is
Okay.
actually required because if you want if you are install it, then you can be see right click options, and after that when you run it in the browser, so it can be automatically give you output if you changes anything here, and after saving
Hmm.
you can see that output quickly. Okay,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
that means you writing some codes here and you quickly get that output in the browser, right?
Hmm. All right.
So here I have some question. I We can see only these particular things, this particular line only, but for this particular line we need to write so many lines. Why? Do you have
Hmm.
any question about this? When I see only
Yeah.
one line code to see one, we want to see the in the browser. So why we need to be write so many codes for only this line? Why?
Hmm. I don't know.
Because it is the most valuable question. If you know, then you can understand the concept of programming. If you don't know, if you don't know about this, so you cannot get achieve more understand about the technology. You get the point?
Yeah, I got that point. Yeah.
समझ पा रहे हो ना?
Yeah.
Okay. So point is, if you have only one line output, but you are write so many codes for this particular thing. Why? Because first thing, browser is our initial compiler, right?
Yes. Right.
Why? Because from this code to this output are connecting through this particular options. Okay, because every HTML file is rendered into the browser, and when it is rendered, so browser have own library, means like SDK is already there, and also it is runtime environment, because our codes are running on this environment also, right?
Right.
And when it running from here, we did not require any compilation process in between to see output, because when you are see the output directly from the code are directly see output. So for that particular purpose it's called as a git. One means it is a call git compiler. Okay, git compiler
Hmm.
means just in time compiler, just in time compiler. Okay,
Hmm. Okay.
this
Great.
is the terminology
Great.
of just in time compiler. And uh, every javascript code should be embedded on HTML file. Why HTML file? uh, because I think do you have any programming language before your work? C, C++, Python, whatever you did read anything before?
No, I worked on C sharp.
You work with C sharp, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
I went to boot camp.
hmm?
Yeah, I went a course for C sharp. Yeah.
Okay, and did you write any code with C sharp?
Yeah, on the course. Yeah.
Okay, and when you are work with C sharp, so every time when you write C sharp code, that C sharp code actually running from main function, right?
Yeah.
Everything are executed from the main function. Is there?
Yeah.
So why main function is required to execute anything if we want to get output? Can you say me?
No, I don't know.
Why main? Why not other functions are to execute to see our code?
Hmm.
You
Yeah, I don't know.
you did not have any question about this particular thing.
Yeah, I don't know about it. No.
Okay. Thing is, why main? Main basically are connected with the system execution. Okay, means
Hmm.
when your compiler are started, when your compiler are started to see your codes. So that time when your application is start for performing, so main function is the entry point of your compiler. Okay, so for that particular reason you need to be write your whole code, and whole code object are initiated into the main function. After then you can be see that code when you want to run it uh, in your programming console, right?
All right.
Because that is the linking point, and that is also a entry point of the code injection. Okay,
Okay.
you understand the point?
Yeah, I think you're saying our main question is why we
why
write our.
why main function are uses in the programming languages, mostly when you are working with C++, C sharp, Java, whatever you are using. So that time main function is required to performing your code.
Hmm.
Why? Because that main functions is a connecting part when your code are performing, when your code start performing. So that time you need to be use that particular functions to use in your file,
Hmm.
in your
Okay.
program, because that is the linking point which is already set up from the previously. Okay.
Okay.
So here also when we are put any HTML file into the server side, so that time index.html is the default file for every kind of server. Okay,
Hmm.
so for
Okay.
that particular reason, when we are start any website designing, so every websites should have index dot whatever, because index is the primary name which is our pointing, and as per environment name, and that environment file will be available as per server requirement. Okay, if you
Hmm.
are using PHP server, so that time index.php. If you are Python, so maybe Python server does not require Python py file directly, but in the PHP server, index.php is required. If you are working with JSP server, so that time index.jsp also there. If you are working with ASP server, so that time index.asp also there. So that was the processes which are required as per server setup, as per server environment. Okay, but everywhere index.html can be run. Okay,
Okay.
so this is the actually entry file of every server, and when we are writing any code for the browser, so that file should be open into the browser, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So this is the index.html is the entry file, or maybe called as a main file, where we are embedding our code in this file. You could understand?
Hmm. Yeah, I understand.
Okay.
Because our main is connected
This is the
to our compiler.
actually structure of main function. Okay, that means if we want to perform anything like how we can see that, just you see, I work this particular thing as a software compiler, software compiler which you are actually seen before when you are work with uh, .NET platform. So here I just simply linking a some file which called app.js. Okay, this is the app.js is the external file where we are start our coding, right? This is the actually starting of the our code, and this start dot file when I calling here, and after this file I just simply calling a function like main, like this. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so after calling this we cannot see anything here, right? We cannot see anything here. You could
Yeah.
understood, because this is the actually if you say it as a compiler or your entry file of your software, so this is the your actually setup file. Okay, this is your setup file which is already have with your framework. Means when you are start your coding through .NET project, so that .NET project have some other extra files uh, with your project structure, and they are also set up this kind of things also. Okay, so now I just simple click create a file called app.js, and after that I just simply create a function name which is called main, and after main I just simply use this particular line, and after then we can see the output. Do you get the point?
Yes. So our main question is about the main.
Because this is a function which functions are performing into the index file. Okay, and
Okay.
as per native process I just simply calling the main function, and then I just inject our own code in this particular section to see
Okay.
our code. Understood?
Yeah.
It is the process of a compiler, because when you start anything code in coding language, uh, so everywhere have some basic setup like this. Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
so this is the actually basic entry point when you wanted to start your code. Maybe there have some class, and after that main functions in between that particular thing, but I just simplified the process of thinking, why use the main function everywhere and how can we use that. Okay,
Mm. Okay.
this is the actually process of coding, but into the javascript part we did not record these things actually. We did not record directly. So if we are not using like this directly, so we have also option uh, when we are attaching the extra additional file from outside. So this is the actually output. We can write this code without using any function directly here, and we can get same output like before.
Mm.
Okay, we can also use javascript code like this before. Can it make sense?
Okay. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Uh, what is the structure of javascript, how it performing and how it work?
So we use through the index.html.
Hmm.
So So we have to create a first index.html, then we can use the JavaScript.
Because in index.html is required to see our JavaScript code into the browser. So
Yes.
of course we need to use index.html.
Yeah, index.html.
Okay, when we are see our output into the browser. But if we run this same code into our uh, system, into our system environment, means console output, so after, for that particular purpose, we just replace this syntax with console.log, because this console.log also you can see in .NET output also, I think, right?
Mm,
Console.log may be output options into the C sharp programming language, I think.
I forgot, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so actually console.log, when we are actually want to see get output into the console. Console means basically it is our actually developer side. It is mainly work for as a developer side. And if we want to see the console into the browser, so right click on the page, and we can see the inspect options in every browser. And after that, when the developer consoles are open, and here is the console option, and this console option we can see the output hello javascript which are written here.
Mm,
Okay,
yes. Yes.
because if you are debugging your code, you if you want to check your output of your code, so that time, every time you can be use console.log options for the browser development, and as well as your backend development also. Because if we want to check out this particular syntax into the system console, so that time we can open this particular things, open in integrated terminal. Means terminal means your command prompt in the Windows system. In the command prompt you should have nodejs environment first, and after that you can using that node command line tool, using with like this, and you can say see same output, which is the get output in the browser. Same output also get from here, from the
Yeah.
file directly. and
Okay.
and when we get the output from the file directly, so we should have this nodejs environment for our system.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I have that in my system. Yeah.
Okay, because this nodejs environment also is a compiler,
Compiler.
because SDK and runtime environment both are available into the node environment, and for that particular purpose we can see the output through this. Okay,
Mm. Yeah.
so this is the actually main things to understand and to structure uh, of JavaScript programming language. Okay,
Okay.
and currently when we work with JavaScript development, so how JavaScript development are worked, and for which thing, like this time we are see any kind of front-end development, uh, front-end app, like so everywhere are using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and JavaScript are performing everywhere. Why? How? This particular code editor, VS Code editor, is also developed with the HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and it is also a instance of a browser.
Mm-hmm.
Did you
Okay.
know? Did you know before?
I didn't understand.
ओके, क्या हिंदी में बात करें?
Yeah, anybody problem no.
एक्चुअली क्या है, यहाँ पे जो हम लोग आउटपुट देख रहे हैं, वो आउटपुट एक्चुअली एक ब्राउज़र में दिखाई दे रहा है।
ठीक है।
ओके, तो ये जो ब्राउज़र में दिखाई दे रहा है, तो ब्राउज़र में जो चीज़ दिखता है वो क्या होता है, HTML CSS जावास्क्रिप्ट से वो आता है। तो बेसिकली यहाँ पे जो भी स्ट्रक्चर दिखाई दे रहा है वो HTML CSS जावास्क्रिप्ट में लिखा हुआ है, और वही है एक सॉफ्टवेयर जो हम लोग अभी यूज़ कर रहे हैं। ऐसे बहुत सारे सॉफ्टवेयर है जो हम लोग यूज़ करते हैं आउटपुट देखने के लिए, और बेसिकली हर एक टाइप का जो सॉफ्टवेयर है अभी के डेट में, बहुत सारा सॉफ्टवेयर जो HTML CSS जावास्क्रिप्ट के ऊपर बेस करके ही बना हुआ है।
Okay.
How can we see this proof? This proof, if you want to see, so that time go to the help section, and we can check out toggle developer tools. Now we can see the HTML code here, right?
Right.
Here so many syntaxes are available which are written with HTML and CSS. This is the CSS part, it is the HTML part, and also involve JavaScript. Understood? So that means it is a actually browser. It is a actually browser instance behind this base code.
Okay.
Okay, so for this particular reason, JavaScript are most popular language at this time, because when you developing any kind of desktop application or mobile application, web application, whatever you want, everywhere you can apply HTML, CSS and JavaScript for developing your app, because they have proper standardizations, and that standardizations can be follow every platform. Okay, and also they are optimized that standardizations as per their platform, because this W3 consortium are set up the standards for HTML, CSS and JavaScript. Okay, and that standardizations are follows by all the software company who are actually providing this kind of browser software. And when we are starting with nodejs environment, and nodejs also a part of the browser part of the browser actually, it is also part of a browser, and it is called JavaScript runtime environment, but it's part of browser.
It's
Okay,
part of browser. Okay.
basically it is a runtime environment where do not have UI part, they have other parts where JavaScript code can be executed with the system. With,
Okay.
okay, so this is the actually the platform where we can execute our JavaScript syntaxes through the environment, through the runtime environment, uh, into the hardware processes and whatever thing we want. Okay,
Okay. So Node is for
Node is a
runtime
compiler,
environment.
Node is a runtime environment uh, which can be used anywhere.
Runtime environment.
Okay, which can be used anywhere, because nodejs is a free and open source, and we can use it everywhere.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
because this is the introduction class, so I just talking with you some fundamentals of JavaScript, because it is most understand you need to be start working with JavaScript, because this syntaxes, this all the things you can be read from here. Syntax is important, but concept is more important than syntaxes, because you already written so many syntaxes before, but I think you did not remember that.
Yeah, I can remember now.
Because you cannot remember everything about the syntaxes, because syntaxes can't remember, but if once you understand about the concepts, that concept maybe stay very long time in your memory.
Hmm.
Because what I say at this moment with you, can you explain me
Yeah, I'm sorry.
what I discuss with you uh, for the JavaScript?
So we discussed that is the compiler, what's compiler, and it's SDK software development kit plus runtime environment that we call compiler, and the compiler is nodejs. Using the nodejs, we can see our code, the result of our code in the browser.
Hmm.
Our browser is our compiler.
Browser is a compiler, and Node.js are communicate with the system, with the
Compiler
with
system.
the computer system. Okay,
Yeah.
so I just wanted to see. I just want to understand you how software are works, how softwares are work. Here now no code is involved, no environment is involved. How softwares are work? Because our main goal is how can run our software into the system, any system.
Mm.
Okay, so if we run our system, run our software into the any systems, so we should have required SDK and runtime environment first, because it's a compiler. When we write some codes, that's compiler compile our code and run that code into that browser, into that platform. Okay,
Mm.
so this is the actually software structure basically.
Okay. So
Okay.
if we run, for example, the Python,
Hmm.
we need the SDK of Python.
Hmm. If we are,
Yeah.
if we are writing some Python codes, so we must have required first SDK, Python SDK, and also we required Python random environment. Then we can run our, we can write our codes on Python syntax, and that code will be compiled with Python compiler, and there have
Mm.
must be software development kit and random environment both of that side.
Okay, I got it now.
Hmm. So this is the actually software architecture. When we are starting any kind of software, we are start. So return start. So before starting, we must be understand how software are work and how performing that thing into our system. It is most
Okay.
important beyond the code, because code have a similar thing. We can understand the code easily, but concepts are important. And when we run the code, so every time when we run the code, so runtime code running process are also similar thing. We should have some setup file to execute our code for runtime environment. Okay.
Okay.
So here also I set up a file behind this HTML file, and this HTML file are linked our code with the browser.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay.
and after that we understand about the API. API. Can you say what is API?
Application programming interface.
Maybe example interface. Okay, so what is this? It is a terms of API, but what is this exactly?
It's like a JSON file.
No, it's not a
What?
JSON file.
Mhm.
It is a syntax.
Syntax.
When we writing any type of syntaxes for every coding in language, that's called API.
Okay.
Okay, so if we write this syntaxes here, it is also API.
Hmm.
Okay, because these things are represent our code into the exact required section. So this is a representer of our code, of our desired output.
Hmm.
So for
Okay.
that particular reason, it is the programmable interface, application programmable interface.
Programming interface.
Okay,
Okay.
so
It's a syntax.
it's not mean API means only a JSON file. It's not, does not mean. Okay, this time so many developers, non-techies are say this API, and this API not means JSON part. That means syntaxes.
Syntax. Okay.
Okay, API means basically syntaxes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
when you write any type of programming codes, that's also called API.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
if you are writing in the HTML code, it is also API. If you are writing JavaScript code, it is also API. If you are writing CSS code, that is also API. So every type of codes are called as API. But most broader use, they are actually calling API JSON file mostly. But JSON file called REST API, not API. That's called REST API. If we are using the JSON API, JSON file as API, so that's called REST API. Okay.
Hmm. Okay. Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
Now line number 4. API. When we start any programming language, when we want to start about programming, so we must have understand some basic things like variable, variables, conditions, con conditions, variables. But after that, we need to understand about data types. Data types are required. Variable data types, conditions, loops. Okay, before using conditional loop, we need some operators. Operators, operators, loops, array, functions. Actually, I write this one, two, three, four, five, six. Actually, loops and array, it's same things are required with together, and functions. And after that, we required object oriented, oriented programming. that's called OOP. Okay, and after that we need to be understand about the library library and after that we can need to be understand about the frameworks and then um, library and frameworks. After then we can be use to develop as a software. We can develop our software this particular section from this section. Okay, so before start any software development we must have good knowledge on these topics. Okay, so this is the actually understanding part. If you understand whole this thing, after then you can build any software, whatever you want, for front end or back end, whatever you want, you can make that. Okay,
Okay.
so this is the programming fundamentals. PROGRA programming fundamentals. Okay, so this is the actually basic understanding about the programming fundamentals. Into the JavaScript, when we are start and the JavaScript are as a programming thing, so we need to require some syntaxes uh, defined as a variable. So var is a syntax to define our variable. Let also another syntax to call variable. Const are another syntax to declare variables. So let var, let const, these three syntax can be used to declaring the variables. Okay,
Okay.
and we have also data types. Data types means when we are set up a variable uh, with human level language with some name uh, for human understanding, that variable have some values and that values have some data types like mm, if you have you have a ball in your hand and you can hold anything into that ball. Can you understand?
Yeah, like a box.
Like box, if you have a box, so you can hold anything into the box, but
Okay.
that box should have some types of value, like if you are holding water, so that is the liquid form. Okay, that is the liquid form. If you are storing into that box as water, if you are holding water into that box, so that is the liquid form of your value, right? And if you are storing some solid metal like uh, any food or anything others, so that is solid metal. So there have two types of contents can be hold in that particular box, right? and
Yeah.
and if you want to hold liquid metal liquid thing into the box, so for that particular reason you need to be set up your box uh, for that particular purpose, because
Yeah.
if you take any general box, you cannot be hold a liquid thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So same things are here. If you are declaring some variables, and data types also important when you are holding some value into the variable. Okay, so that time is required to data types. Okay, and that data types are holding in the memory section, because when we are actually start our application and run our application, so that particular application running on the memory means in the RAM, our all the codes are running into the RAM. So for that particular reason, data types are most important when we are declaring any variable. Okay,
Okay.
and what about operators? What about operators?
Operators or like equal, three equal sign, assignment. Um, yeah,
Operators means performer.
performance.
Okay, performer. Per- because you perform some tasks, so that time you need some operators, right?
Okay.
If you are performing a DJ show, so that time you required DJ player, right?
Mm. Yeah.
Because DJ is a system, but a DJ operator can be play that system very well. So for that reason, you can enjoy the DJ system.
No, okay.
Okay, so DJ player is a operator who is the performing whole task. So basically, if we are performing any kind of task into the programming, so that time we require different kind of operators, and operators means we are working as a programmatically. So for that particular reason, we have programming operators like equal, double equal, greater than, less than, greater than equal, less than equal. So many type of operators, syntaxes are available, right?
Correct.
And that operators give us to process our data for performance, for the software performance or program performance, right?
Yeah.
Okay, can you enjoy?
Sorry.
Do you like my lecture?
Yeah, yeah. It's good. Yeah.
It's informative,
Yeah, yeah.
knowledgeable.
Yeah, yeah. It is. Yeah.
Okay, actually, if you are not giving me feedback from your end, I could not understand. Did you understand or not?
Yeah, yeah. No,
Because
no. I understand.
because
We.
I because I want to summarize whole programming part with you, because if I explain you what is right and why it is very simple task. You can read everything from here, but what I discuss with you, you could understand,
Yeah, yeah. I understand.
because
We are.
this is the syntax which can be performed in your coding section. But beyond coding, how it work and what is the whole structure of software development things, it is most important.
Mhm.
Maybe these things
Yeah.
are not explained on that particular thing,
Mm.
and these concepts are required everywhere when you are working with any software development process.
Okay.
Okay, so you must have understanding about whole this thing. Okay,
Mm.
and
Okay.
conditions, what is the conditions?
Conditions or like if a statement,
Hmm?
like when something happen in some cases, we have to select the case when it have to happen.
Hmm.
Like if a statement, if this happens, this do. If this one happens, do this. Otherwise, or else, do this.
Hmm. That means it is are connected with our real problem.
Yeah.
Because if we go for anywhere for travel, and there have no our desired abilities, that is the conditions. Because if you want to go somewhere, and for that particular
Yes.
purpose you have your own car, but condition is there, if your car have not enough oil, then you choose other other what say other vehicles,
Mm.
because they have condition not enough oil in your car. So this is the
Mm.
conditions. So condition can be connected with our real life problem. If we have satisfied the condition, then we can use that. If satisfied, if condition not satisfied, then we can choose another options if we have. Otherwise we need to be escape, right?
Mm. Right, yeah. That's our condition. We have to give our condition.
And after that we understand about the loops. Can you say me what is the loops?
Loops is mm, it's like running many times. For example, if you want from 1 to 10, it loops around that one and it writes from 1 to 10. We call loop.
Actually loop is when our work is same, when our job is same, do it regularly, that call loop.
Mm.
Because every day you are going to job, and after finish your job you back to your home, every day doing same loops.
Doing same thing every day called loops.
If you are doing
Um,
same things every time, that's called loop. Maybe
okay.
their value will be changed in between that same performance, and that will be
Same
decided by
performance.
the array array values.
Okay.
Okay, basically thing is, uh, every day you going to your office, and after that you return from your office every day. It is a regular task. But
Yes, it is.
someday have rainy season, so that time you can get extra more things are required to carry for the rainy season, right?
Right.
And any other normal time you going to office, but that time you did not require that extra things when you carry in the rainy season.
Mm.
Because
Okay.
every day you doing same things as a loop, but as per condition, as per your requirement, you change your carryable things.
Mm.
That's are decided with the other things, and that other things are decided by the array, means external value. Okay.
Mm. Okay. I so loops are something that performing every time, same thing.
Because actually
Yeah.
if you want to present the some data, like in programmatical way, you want to present some data through loops. So if you want to present some students data, like which are students are you have 10 students and 10 students marks are different, so and 10 students names also different, so you are performing same loops, means you are writing the 10 people's name one by one, Other that, you write 3 lines of code to performing 10 lines of code or hundreds lines of code can be generated with that 3 line of code. Okay.
Okay.
So for 3 line of code have provider, data provider, which called array. Array provides the data, and loops are performing same things to write the data into the table. And the array which are provided the data, that data, every data have different value to present the data.
Hmm.
Understood?
So array mean, yeah, array mean data.
Huh. Yes, array means data, because in
Hmm.
array we have so many datas are there.
Okay.
Okay, and that data when performing, that time we need to be used to present that data through the loops. So for that particular reason I write both of things in same line.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
And array is a collective variables. Array basically is a collective variables. Okay, collective of variables, collection of variables.
Collection of variables. Okay.
Okay, because if you want one actually if you want two and more values in same variable, so that time we can be use array.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
and after that we have functions. Functions means basically when we are doing so many things for written our programming, and we want to minify that in a single code, so that time we can be use functions.
Function.
Okay,
Yeah,
and
function or special block of code.
functions have lots of programs are written into that functions, and after written that functions we can use that functions multiple times as our requirement.
Hmm.
Okay, and object oriented programming also same like that, but I did not discuss about this and this because this will be use this will be discussed later, because this time it's not be okay for you, because I think this concept is too much heavy at this moment for you, because your response not so good as I expected,
Hmm.
because maybe you are
So,
getting so much pressure when I talk about these concepts.
no, what I understand is variables. Such programming fundamentals. All the programming language does all these steps it has,
Hmm.
like variable, data types, conditions, loops, arrays, functions. All the programming language has these.
Hmm.
So variables are like kind of box that hold a value, and it has a name. For example, for, let, cons, and we can give them a name too, and it has a value.
Hmm.
Data types are um, data types are like a string, integer, those things,
Hmm.
and operators are performance.
Hmm.
So when we want to perform something, so we use the operators
Hmm.
like equal sign or less than or greater, and the conditions or condition or like um, we have a special condition
Hmm.
like if we want to travel, we need to have oil in our car.
Hmm.
So if we don't have oil, we can't go.
Hmm.
So in case of conditions, we use condition if statement or else. Loops, it does something that every day that happens every time, same thing. And arrays our data.
Hmm.
And functions are a special block of code that
Stored in a some brackets, some chunk of sets with a syntax,
syntax, yeah.
and that syntax can be used multiple times. in our program.
More time. More as many time as you want. Yeah. That's what I understand. Yeah.
So and this is our today understanding. Okay, and after that we discuss about the SDK, runtime environment, JavaScript compiler, and API also. Okay, so what you are doing after this session?
Okay.
You just uh, read from the beginning to this particular thing. You just go through on these pages, all these pages. Okay, I will be discuss it next class elaborately.
Okay. That's nice.
Okay,
So
so
from the home.
home have not any extra special things. Actually you are start reading from uh, this area, from this area actually, but you can cover from here to this particular part, because this is are so much important to understand before starting. Because when we are start the writing variables, let const, these two syntax are very much uh, understanding thing. Because when we start the JavaScript programming, so we have three type of variable initializations syntax: var, let, const. And when you are reading this, you can be understand. Operator you already know, arithmetic operator, assignment operator, data types also you already know about that. So actually these some things you are read before my next class. It's simple, not so much heavy, just read it. And after that, if you want to understand about the function, so you can also do that. Whatever you can read, you can read here from. Okay, because if you have something knowledge about this, I can be explain it practically how it work. Okay, I give you the practical examples with you also.
Okay.
Okay.
So I will leave those, and I will continue. Yeah, from W3 school. If in the next lesson tomorrow, hopefully, so we will. You can ask me questions. If I can answer for you, we will continue. Good.
Actually, I'm not asking any question tomorrow class, because I just explain. I just read you. I just say to read you the whole things. But tomorrow session I am not asking anything, because
Okay.
this is need to be understand by yourself. Because I have so many things to discuss about this. What you read, after reading you can be understand lot of the things beyond this documentation. Because
Okay.
here I have some thing already here. And when I improvised it as practically, then you can be understood it very easily.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay.
for
Okay.
that particular reason, I just say you just read the documentation first, because you have basic understanding about which topics I will be discuss with you. That time you can connect with me. Otherwise, you completely clueless what I discuss with you, what things actually I discussed. Because when I discuss about the SDK, runtime environment, and compiler, so that time you also blank. You did not have good knowledge on this particular things. But this is not so much good. This is not so much required to understand. But if you have good knowledge on this thing, then you can be understand how programming are work into the environment, into the system. So for that particular reason, I just discuss on these topics. Okay, but
Okay.
uh, from the tomorrow class, next from the next class, actually I discuss about and the all syntaxes how are written in our program and how can we use that in our programming, we can discuss about that also. And I can give also some topics to implement with you. Okay. And
Okay.
actually topics part are if you want, so that time we need to be understand if else switch case, so many things are actually required. So as much you can learn, you learn. Okay, as you want, as so much you learn. Okay, so
Okay.
uh, now end the session today.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So I will prepare myself. I prepare myself for tomorrow.
Hmm.
So I will read those things. Yeah, I will prepare myself.